I don't know, maybe, did the game just crash? No! No, please! I'm about to get a weapon. No! Damn it. Hi, my name is Fallout, and buckle up, buckaroos, because today we are tackling what I'm pretty sure is my first game review ever. Only took me about 5 years of YouTubing before caving in. New record. The game we're going over, Outriders, the brand new title from People Can Fly, which is now officially the newest member in the proud and exclusive club of absolutely terrible game launches. Don't get me wrong, I ain't gonna dunk on Outriders harder than it deserves because its launch week gave me Anthem PTSD. No, Anthem was Humpty Dumpty, fell too hard right out the gate and could never really be put back together again, which maybe was for the best. Outriders is more like a kid who tripped and sprained his ankle on the first day of school. Yeah, he's having a lousy first week, I'll give you that, but he'll be back on his feet in no time. I should, in theory, mainly review Outriders on the assumption that it will be problem-free relatively soon, which I'm sure it will be. That being said though, I'm still gonna talk about the terrible launch week real quick. Can somebody tell me please why the hell we live in a world where we continuously have to deal with online-only single player? If I want to play Outriders alone in my gaming cave like the sunlight-fearing, Cheeto-eating loner troglodyte that I am, then why the f do I need to be online 24/7? Stop making games where you can't play the single player unless you happen to be online. It's total garbage and needs to get 86. Pair that together with the fact that we, the players, now borderline expect big new game releases to be plagued with issues the first few days. It's almost like we shouldn't even bother logging in to try anymore until week 2 of a new big launch. Anywho, let's pretend for a minute that we live in the not too distant future and that Outriders no longer randomly crashes when I spend too much time in a cutscene and actually has fully functioning servers that don't kick me out to the title screen every day, which, again, only a matter of time. How does the game play and feel without all of that going on? Let's go through everything bit by bit. First up, the good. Outriders actually has a lot of good stuff going on. The gunplay and ability play, IMO, is right off the bat good. Let me tell you, as a guy who is pretty much married to first-person shooters, I absolutely loathe most third-person games that I play. Most, not all. About 9 times out of 10, I find them incredibly annoying. Every now and then I find one that I actually manage to enjoy. Also helps to alleviate things if I'm able to romance and plow random alien babes. Don't judge me. The combat in Outriders I find enjoyable. While the cover system is not perfect, you don't need to actually stick to it. The gunplay is high quality, and so far all the weapons handle well. I can move around the battlefield with little trouble. The abilities play into combat very smoothly, and it all comes together in a way that I like. Although I wish there were more playable classes, the core 4 that we're given are all fairly fun. You've got the Devastator, aka the Come At Me Bro tank class, the Pyromancer, aka the obligatory I'll burn you with edgy space magic class, the Trickster, aka the quick agile hit and run class, and the Technomancer, aka the I'ma stay back here and litter the battlefield with random bullshit class. They're all a little bit different, and while I enjoy some more than others, I feel like they're all strong in their own way, and actually kind of can't wait to see the future strategies and combos that weird and talented no-lifers come up with in the endgame. No shade. There really is something indescribably satisfying about rolling up to some big brute schmuck and dropping a literal time-warping bubble around him, then unloading 20 shotgun shells right into his dumb face while he flails in slow-mo. Hella fun abilities they dreamed up and put into this game, let me tell you. Now, because I am a degenerate junkie Destiny player by nature, I love me a good loot chase, and Outriders is no exception. While grinding through the story mode, I always got hyped when I saw a new epic or legendary piece of gear fall on the floor. Likewise, getting a hot new weapon in my hands that can turn my enemies into clouds of thick red goo in a flash fills me with joy. I can't say that I was wild about the fact that most loot crates in Outriders all have the same visual design, aka a dirty wooden footlocker that looks like it could be found in the back of your grandfather's abandoned tool shed. That critique aside, hunting new loot is fun, and getting your hands on new loot is awesome and rewarding. In that same vein, the perks, aka the weapon and armor mods in the game, are awesome. There are so many perks that you can really feel changing the flow of combat. Being able to chain up enemies, life leech, guns that cause explosions, guns that freeze enemies, guns that cause bleed damage, and the list goes on and on and on. I have yet to unlock every weapon mod in the game, and I really kind of want to. I mean, I genuinely actually want to grind that out. Makes me feel like a bloodthirsty Ash Ketchum. I want to collect all the horrifyingly new painful ways to hurt people on planet Enoch. Explosions on a kill. I choose you. And because the perks on your weapons actually mean something, crafting in Outriders is quite well done and enjoyable to me, to the point where I think it's probably going to be the one thing that may keep me in the game for the long haul. Being able to collect all the weapon mods, then dream up crazy weapon armor and team combinations to bring out into the wild. You are Dr. Frankenstein, and the borderline limitless weapon and armor creations you can put together are your very own monster. I would bust out of my pants and have a heart attack in that order if this level of weapon and gear customization ever came to a game that really had its claws deep into me, like Destiny. I wanna go out and find new gear that has new perks that I like and come back to camp and break them down and put together insane new perk combos to show off to my friends. More games out there need this level of loadout customization, and I will gladly say that to me, the base level going on in Outriders is refreshing. The fact that you can completely tinker with your class skill tree makes me want to cry tears of joy. It may not be the most wild and zany skill tree I've ever seen. Most perks you'll find on it are relatively passive stat buffs, but again, giving players more customization in gaming these days is so key. I am glad as hell that Outriders does not make you pay some outrageous in-game currency fee to completely reset your entire tree if you feel like you want to mix things up. Everything is open to being tinkered with, and I'm here for it. The endgame content in Outriders focuses on things called expeditions, high-level missions that involve challenge tiers rather than world tiers. I'm relatively new to running these expeditions as I sit here writing the script, but I can already see the appeal. Completing expeditions is all about efficiency and speed. The faster you beat an expedition, the better loot you'll get at the end. I wouldn't call it speedrunning, but it ain't far off. It's down the road from speedrunning. It's in the same aisle at the grocery store as speedrunning. If speedrunning is flour, then expeditions are cocoa powder at the end of the aisle. What the f am I talking about? I'm trying to say that they're fun, and for now, I really like them. At the end of each expedition, you get a post-game screen that shows a buttload of information. Total damage done, accuracy, kills, damage blocked, damage taken, credit score, sexual history. It's all there, and I wish more games had screens like that one. I want to finish a challenging activity and see every little tiny detail. I want to finish a challenging activity and see if either me or my friend popped off. If I did, good. My build is doing exactly what I want it to. If my friend totally crushed me in every category, well, damn, I gotta yoink that build. Let good players show off a little bit and let learning players get as much info as they can. Next on the good list is how fun Outriders feels when you play together with other people. If your main jam in the world of gaming is co-op looty shooties where you team up with your buddies and make weird alien dogs regret the day they were born, then yeah, Outriders is gonna be right up your alley. Even when I jumped in to play the endgame content with a few random jabroni players via the game's matchmaking system, I ended up enjoying myself. After playing maybe 90% of the main story alone, I can confidently say that yeah, Outriders was a game meant to be enjoyed with other people, and it's something it does well. And with that, let's now talk about the bad. Outside of what's going on with launch week and the servers crashing, Outriders has a lot to talk about in the things that piss me off department. A few of the following critiques will definitely fall under the okay, but does that really matter umbrella, which I'm fully aware of. But many of them give me a total headache and really are worth talking about if you're on the fence about buying the game. Let's start with the story. Full disclosure, my experience with the story was heavily hindered by technical issues with the game in week 1. Aside from the servers repeatedly crashing, I learned that my game could fatally crash if I spent too much time in a cutscene. The only way I could really solve the problem was by mashing escape and or the spacebar, like a sugared up toddler playing Mario Party to bust out of the cutscene in frame perfect time lest my game suffer a tragic heart attack. Because I pretty much had to do that all the time, again, full disclosure, I missed a lot of the plot the first time around. In fact, there was a time when I went back to the main camp, found a brand new NPC sitting peacefully on the ground along with my entourage, and the only thing I could think of was, who the fuck are you? Now, I did go back and watch pretty much all of the major cutscenes I missed on YouTube and on my buddy's Twitch channels. If you're looking for a deep and captivating story, rich with lore, Outriders is not the game for you. The writing is uninteresting at best and just plain goofy at worst, and I don't find myself really caring about 99% of the characters or the world that we're playing in. The voice acting is not memorable, the NPC animations are kinda janky, and why the hell is the camera so shaky in every cutscene? Makes me feel like I'm in some bootleg found footage movie. I really don't know if they were going for a certain vibe, but it's weird and off-putting, and goddamn it, I don't like it. And yeah, I know you can turn it off if it bothers you, but I really wish I could have been a fly on the wall in that meeting room where they decided it would be a good idea to include in the game at all. Visually, Outriders is not bad, but the whole world design doesn't really grab me by the horn. Every now and then there are places that are kinda neat, but mostly nearly every environment I've been in is kinda bland and forgettable. Speaking of things that visually irk me, dear sweet Jesus on an everything bagel with cream cheese, there has never been a game in the history of mankind that needs transmog more than Outriders. 99% of the time I spent grinding out the main game, my brave hero of the magical new world looked like he got his entire wardrobe out of the bottom of a dumpster from the parking lot behind Denny's. I know that most of the time it's nice to have gear on that gives you the best boost to your character stats, but holy crap, we have one of the most impressive weapon mod systems I've ever seen, and you can't fucking let me put on a goddamn hood or give my pants a splash of color to be something other than poop brown. Remember earlier I mentioned how the insane variety on weapon perks is really great and impressive? I'm kinda sad that there's such a limited amount of class abilities to choose from. Yeah, most of the ones you do get are damn cool, but I would have loved to see way more for each class. Why are there like 100 weapon perks but not even 10 skills per each class? I'm sure that more hardcore players will find wild new strategies for potentially underperforming abilities, but for the most part, when I found the abilities I really liked on my main class, I just kind of rode those out through the entire campaign. Even when I unlocked the final ability on my trickster, I tried it out for like an hour, didn't like it as much as what I was rocking before, and changed back. I don't know, feels like we could have used a little bit more. And speaking of things I could have gotten a little bit more of, weapon types. While we are definitely drowning in really cool weapon mods, I feel like there ain't a ton of weapon type variety in the game. We got assault rifles, shotguns, sniper rifles, double guns, light machine guns, and submachine guns. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hey, Fallout, you left a bunch out. Yeah, did I though? Like, did I really though? Bolt action rifles and automatic sniper rifles both fall under the umbrella of sniper rifles. Auto shotguns, pump action shotguns, any type of shotguns fall under the umbrella of shotgun, and so on and so forth. I left out pistols and revolvers too. I'm hoping that maybe in endgame level play, hardcore players will find a good use for pistols. I'm sure they'll find some kind of utility with them that factors into a cool build, but for the most part, I went through pretty much 99.999% of the entire game without ever needing to touch my pistol. Again, the weapons ain't bad, and I know that the deeper I get into the endgame, I'm probably going to use more legendary weapons, which are all unique and badass, but until you get to that point, you'll probably feel like you're using a lot of the same types of weapons over and over. And speaking of reusing things over and over, the bad guy types in Outriders, usually with very few exceptions, boil down to one of two categories: human enemies with guns who all pretty much look the same, or alien creatures who pretty much all look the same. Yeah, every now and then some crazy human will try to blitzkrieg you with a giant meat cleaver, but it's mostly guys who all look the same shooting you with the same types of weapons over and over. Same thing with the aliens. Every now and then you'll get one trying to spit acid at you from afar, or a big flying bug, but it's mostly identical creatures all trying to run in and take a bite out of your butt. And they go back and forth repeatedly, so if you just cleared a big area with a lot of alien dog creatures, the smart money says your next mission will be humans as an attempt to mix things up, but usually it just feels like a lot of the same. Finally, we're gonna move on to what I feel are the two biggest hangups I have about Outriders. You may either care a lot about these to the point where you pass on the game completely, Or you might not care at all. Big hang up number 1, playing alone is lame. Outriders was clearly built with co-op play in mind. As I mentioned way earlier, playing with your friends is great. Everyone working together, littering the battlefield with sick abilities that play off one another, taking down big clumps of enemies and bosses together, it's all gravy. Even though there are parts of the game where playing alone can feel rewarding, i.e. you get your gooch kicked in for about an hour trying to clear one boss, then you finally get a strat down and do it alone. That's a great feeling right there. But overall, if you're thinking about getting Outriders and you don't really have anyone you feel like you can play with, you might not have that great of a time. Yeah, you can matchmake, which could lead to both fun times and maybe making a few new friends. It's just not as instantly as enjoyable as rolling deep with your homies. Not to mention, some classes have a much harder time plowing through the main story without a fire team. Everybody's different, right? But I'm of the mentality that the people out there who will most enjoy Outriders are gonna be the ones who are kinda group buying it with their friends. Big hang up number 2, I don't know how long the endgame is gonna hold me for. Right now, it seems that the endgame content, again, expeditions, look pretty badass and challenging. Although I'm sure they're all different in their own way, I really do wonder how long exactly they're gonna hold my attention for. The grinder in me really wants to try and absolutely perfect a team build for each one, but as many of you know, Outriders is not a live service game, meaning that there's not gonna be any seasonal content moving forward. It shipped as a totally complete game. Because I'm just diving into the endgame waters now, take what I'm saying with a big grain of salt, but I want to put it out there that I'm having doubts that eternally grinding out expeditions over and over might not hook me for the long haul, and a lot of other people might end up feeling the same way. TLDR, Outriders is a fun game that I'm currently enjoying. I think if you're a solo player, maybe this ain't it, chief, but if you got a group of friends looking for something new to dive into that focuses on incredibly anal build crafting, you're probably gonna dig it harder than a happy dog at the beach. The crafting is wild, the abilities are cool, but I don't know how deep the endgame is gonna be, so maybe do a little homework on that if you're interested in the game overall. If that sounds like it's worth 60 buckaroos to you, then giddy up, partner, and if it doesn't, save your money on more important internet purchases. Hit that big hot subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.